Hey y'all, I'm Danny the Teach and this is Beauty Manifested, and this is going to be kind of a deep one. I'm thinking, I don't know what's going to come out. It's not like I have a script or anything, but I want to talk feelings of unworthiness, triggers, and decisions that I made out of shame, guilt, or fear. And this is so big. Okay, so the first thing is no one can take your power away. You have to decide to give it away. And the reason that you would decide to give it away is because you've put someone on a pedestal. You don't feel worthy. You don't feel like you're worth anything. And you feel like you have something to prove. Okay, so that's for start. Like when you have just like this deep unworthiness, and usually this comes from like some sort of childhood trauma. Something happened when you were young that made you feel like you had to earn love, right? Like I'm pretty sure this is in the collective conscious. Like if you're a woman, you felt like this before. Like you had to do something to earn love, or at least a woman in the 21st century. And usually the women who are like the most externally confident, honestly. And now, like obviously, if you've done your inner work, that's a different thing. But like those women, like they seem like they have everything in the world, like they should have it all together, but something's just not all the way right, and you can kind of see by the relationships that they allow. It seems like everything's going well for them, but if they are not choosing good relationships, that's like the telltale sign, like there's a worthiness issue going on, and they're feeling like they're not worthy of receiving love and devotion just by simply existing, right? So I notice, and I don't blame people. People are just going to do what people do. And it is human nature, I think, to try to get the least for the most. Like, and I know this is human nature just by watching children. Like, children will manipulate you if you let them. Children will push you if you let them. Like, it's just human nature. So I'm not mad at anybody for this, but this is what I have personally experienced in my life. So people will try to, if they smell that shame, guilt, fear, they will try to push you by activating those things, like intentionally. I personally feel like they do it intentionally, but I don't think that they do it with ill intent. So that looks like the way that it looks like you're a bad auntie if you don't babysit the kids. It looks like you're a bad sister if you don't cancel your plans and drive me here. You're a bad daughter if you can't, if you forgot to do the dishes, or if you don't consistently do the dishes. You're lazy if you don't complete what I wanted you to complete on time. You're how does this shows up in relationships? Oh, you're not wife material. Like you're not a high value woman if you don't cook for me. You're not wife material if you are still being courted by other men. Men tell me this one all the time. Like they will really try to put you down. I was just dating one guy recently, and this doesn't even bother anymore. Like but I do notice it, but I'm not triggered by it anymore because I've been healing past it. And honestly, once you realize it, that is the healing, or at least that's where the healing begins. Like once you know what's happening, it just doesn't have the same power over you. So like this guy, he knows that I'm still dating other people and that I'm not decided about him or anything. And I feel like he makes little snags. Like he'll pinch me. He's like, oh, chunky chunk. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Like, especially because he's overweight anyways. Or like, men will be like, oh, like, I can't marry a woman who hasn't displayed loyalty. And that's a big one, because now you're like, oh, like he's not gonna choose me if I don't become exclusive with him. And now he's just got you to give your power away because you're feeling bad or guilty or something other than love. And your decision should be made from a place of love, and you do it because you want to, never because if I don't do it, something bad might happen. Anytime, and this goes for business, this goes for family, this goes for literally everything, and people do this all the time. Anytime that someone tries to tell you that you should be doing something, or else, like you need to do this or else something bad will happen, they're manipulating you. Like point blank period, they're manipulating you. And that's the oldest trick in the book. Like, stop falling for it. Start like listening. Like, when people are talking to you, when you do something and then after you do it you don't feel good about it, like, think about, like, what did this person say to get me to do it? Like, why did I do this? Or even, like, sometimes in relationships you do something before that person even asked because you've just already been conditioned to do that. But when did you start doing that? Like, when did you start feeling like that was something that you needed to do, right? So, like, a guy who's can't afford you might say, like, he might say stuff about gold diggers, like, oh, gold diggers do this, like, a man can't just want a man for money, like, he's putting all these ideas in your head. So now you feel bad and weird asking him for money because he always says weird stuff about women who ask for money. Cut him off. Just cut him off completely, because you don't need that kind of energy in your life. You should be able to ask for what you want and what you need. Even not even ask for it, but you should, like, say, this is how I would ask, and I'm not even asking. I would be like, oh, I want to get my hair done next week. It's going to be $300. I didn't technically ask. I did not ask, like, hey, will you get my hair done? It's going to be $300, which I should be able to do that. But I should be able to comfortably say, I want to get my hair done. It's going to be $300. And then I would hope that he would say, oh, okay, like, do you want me to Cash App you? And then I'll be like, yeah, babe, like, that would be so nice. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Like, I can't wait. Where are we going to go so I can show off my new hair? Like, something like that. That's how that would go. And then if he doesn't, then it kind of depends on the relationship. Like, if sometimes I am, like, kind of testing to see, like, one, because, like, what if he doesn't have $300 to spare? Then he can't afford me and I don't want to be with him. Like, I don't, like, if you can't just, like, if you don't have an extra $300, I was going to say every month. If you don't have you should have at least an extra $300 every week. Every week. If you're going to be dating, like, if you want to court someone, at least you should be able to fork over $300 a week. For me, like, that's not even a lot. Like, that, a little, like, $300 a week. If you don't have $300 of disposable income, I feel that you don't need to be dating. You need to be driving Uber or something. Like, no. So that's me personally. But there's definitely been times, especially in, like, the beginning of my dating journey, where I did not feel comfortable saying something like that in front of a man. One, because of past programming, things I heard my parents say, things I heard family members say, and then things that, like, that man or men I had dealt with before in the past, and I didn't want to come off a certain way. Now, I don't care about coming off a certain kind of way. The certain kind of way that I'm trying to come off is a woman who gets provided for. Like, if you don't have $300 in disposable income, then we don't have anything to talk about. And I want to make that very clear. Very clear. And the kind of men who I like, they already know what's up. If I say I want to get my hair done and it's going to be $300, they already know what's up. I don't have to ask. I don't have to explain. I don't have to beg. I don't have to do none of that. Like, they already know. Okay? So that's one situation. And then in business, like, they'll be like, oh, okay, well, you can do this or this. But really, like, those are not the only two options. You should know what you want and then get that. Like, don't let people shorten your options, or don't let people make you feel bad and then try to get you to do something that you don't want to do, or buying things. Like, they'll be like, oh, if you haven't invested in this course yet, then you're leaving money on the table, you're doing this. Like, any time that someone is trying to make you feel bad in order to get you to do something, that is the oldest trick in the book, and I don't want y'all to fall for it anymore, because I fell for it literally way too many times. Even, like, and this is so embarrassing. I can't even believe I'm going to say this. So embarrassing. When I was in school, I used to be, like, really insecure about my weight. I always wanted to be skinnier, and I'm already a pretty thin girl, but I always wanted to be skinnier. And, like, guys would be like, oh, like, you don't eat carbs, like, that's so many calories, oh my gosh, I can't believe all the butter on that, like, can I just have that? And then they would take my cheesy garlic bread and I would give it to them, and I would be so sad, because I was like, you know, because now I feel bad. I'm like, oh, like, I really you know, like, I'm so excited to eat my meal. It's like spaghetti with the cheesy garlic bread, and then they start bringing up, like, all, like, the health things about the cheesy garlic bread, and now I'm feeling, like, really bad, like, oh, like, they're right, like, I really don't need to be eating this cheesy garlic bread, like, I don't want to get fat, no, blah 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 blah. And now I just gave them my cheesy garlic bread. And like, I get it. Like, I really shouldn't be eating the cheesy garlic bread. It's not good for me. But the point is, when people know you're insecure about something, they're gonna push you and manipulate it in their favor. And that's why it is so important to cultivate self-esteem and self-worth. And I get it. Like, I feel like until you have cultivated a healthy level of self-esteem and self-worth, you really don't need to be dating. And then you're gonna date and you're gonna get triggered and things are gonna come up and you're gonna display low value behaviors because you're triggered and old patterns and things. So really, like, you can't just hide away from the world and try to do all this healing, because you have to go out into the world in order to get triggered. Like, yeah, you can have all the self-love you want while you're alone in your bedroom, but how are you going to act in front of this man? But for me, in my dating journey, I'll go out, I'll date, I'll meet some people who trigger me, I get triggered, and then I'll isolate for a little while, and I'll do a little healing, and I'll just take a break. And then I'll go back out there and I'll do it again. And then I'll have to take a little break, because I mean, it's like deep healing work. Like this, it runs deep for me. Like these feelings of unworthiness, it's in the collective conscious. Like we all have it. And it's not easy to work through. But every time I go in and I go back out, I unlock new levels, and the dating experiences that I have, they keep on getting better. Each time they get better and they get better and they get better. And so it's just part of the process, and I have to trust it, because what else can I do? Surely I'm not letting men talk me out of my panties. Surely I'm not letting men talk me out of dessert. I'm not letting, like, none of that. Like, I love the level I'm at now, and what I love the most is that I know there's still more levels to unlock. Like, there's so many more levels to unlock, and I'm grateful for YouTube, and I'm grateful for friend circles. I'm grateful for every time that I get to see a woman being provided for on a next level that I didn't even know existed. I'm like, oh yeah, like, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep working on my self-love. I gotta keep working on myself, because no, the price is just gonna keep going up, and it has to, and you're worth it. Like, you're so worth it. And yeah, like, so recently I had this weird little thing come up where I was having like these worthiness issues around men who are like super educated, because I don't have any degrees. I don't have, let alone any like fancy degrees. Like, that's just not what it was for me. That was never what it was for me. Like, I'm not a good student. Like, I mean, I am, like, I know I can pass a test. I have securities licenses. Like, I can pass a test. I can study. I'm not a dummy. But school, like going to school for like a consistent period of time and turning in a bunch of assignments and doing a bunch of homework and stuff, like, no, like, I cannot. I can study for a test, like with an end destination, but I cannot do like I just can't. I can't do 5 classes at once. Like, this is just not the way that I'm built. I'm really not a good student like that. And so I was getting like really intimidated and feeling like kind of like inferior when I kept meeting like all these guys who were like super educated, double masters, PhD, MBA from Harvard, like all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like, they'll never like me. Like, they're gonna think I'm an idiot. Like, but you know what? I have a lot of life experience. And you know what? I actually know some girls who went to Ivy Leagues, and they have the same worthiness issues as me. Like, they have the same issues, the same trauma. People at the Ivy Leagues, yeah, they're super smart or whatever, but they were still getting drunk at college parties. They were still having, like, sex. They were still doing all of these things. Like, they're literally no better than me. We bleed the same blood. We sweat the same sweat. Like, no. And I had to really hype myself up like that. Like, this is nothing to be scared of. And no, these men will still send their money. Like, what, I get to be that girl, like, yeah, like, you know, the business people, they'll be like, the entrepreneurs, they're like, I didn't go to Harvard, but the people who work for me did. Okay, I didn't go to Harvard, but the men who did give me their money. Like, period. Like, why, what would that do for me to have a MBA from Harvard or a PhD from Princeton? Like, that is not really a part of my thing. I mean, that would be great. And I love that. And I do love that. And honestly, I go through that a lot, because ultimately, like, I am the black sheep. Like, my path doesn't look like everybody's else's. It's not giving white picket fence. It's not giving, like, that, like, I guess, like, standard American dream, like 2 kids, suburban house, like all of those things. Like, my path is a little bit unconventional. And so I do kind of look back, and I wish that maybe I had been a better student, and then I had applied myself, and maybe I could have gone to an Ivy League, and I could have met a nice man who's like a lawyer, and I could have been in a sorority, and I could have done all those things. But however, I know for a fact that God has always has his hand on me. And I know for a fact that my life has unfolded exactly as it should, and I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And if that was the way my life was supposed to be, it would have been like that. Like, for me personally, I'll be honest, and like, this is literally so vulnerable, because like, I do want to be like this elite socialite, beautiful woman. But like, in all honesty, like, I've never been a good student. Like, that is just not my, like, that is not my thing. Like, I don't like school. And I'm still worthy of being in these circles. I still know how to make money. I still can run business. Like, I don't have to do that. And yeah, and I've never been sailing, and I don't do a lot of these rich people activities. Like, I don't like parasailing. I don't like all these extreme sports and stuff. Like, it's just not really my thing. I don't know where I was going with this point, but like, oh yeah, the school thing. Like, I'm not a good student. I keep saying that, and I feel like I shouldn't speak that over myself, but like, I just had to decide that I get to live a great life no matter what, and that I'm worthy no matter what, and like, nobody with a better education is better than me. Literally. Like, they're just not. Like, nobody with more money is better than me. Nobody who was born into this rich family is better than me. Like, we have equal opportunity. I get to have exactly what I want. They get to have exactly what they want, and everybody gets to flourish. Like, this is an abundant universe. We're not in competition. There's no, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. They get to go to Harvard and live a great life, and I get to not go to Harvard and live a great life, and we both get to live a great life. Like, I don't have to live my life the way that these other people have lived their life in order to be successful. There's so many roads to success. I personally believe that all roads lead to success, and you just need to enjoy the journey. Know where you're going, and then accept that it's going to be a winding road. It's never a straight shot, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Like, that's all we can really do. And the unworthiness issues are going to come up, and even that is a beautiful opportunity and a beautiful part of your journey, because now you get to heal through it. I'm grateful when God creates an experience that shines light on an insecurity that I have, because sometimes I feel like, oh my God, I'm doing so good, I've healed everything, so confident, and then I meet someone who's just like, triggers me. I'm like, oh my God, like, what if he thinks I'm ugly? Like, what if he thinks I'm stupid? Like, what if I'm not enough? Like, and then I start feeling like maybe I have to like prove myself, because I'm like, oh my God, like, this guy's never gonna like me. Like, he's so posh, he's so this, he's so that, he wears a fancy watch. Like, oh my God. And then I just realized, like, he's like, no. I literally went to school with people like this, and when I tell you, they're literally like not better than you. Like, they're just like, they're literally not better than you. Like, I don't know where I got that in my head, but it's just like, it's always a reflection of you that you're projecting out. Like, I feel a little insecure that I didn't finish my degree, in that I didn't walk the traditional path, and especially in like this part of my life where, like, I'm getting ready to begin a new career. I'm feeling a little nervous. I'm feeling a little anxious. So I'm feeling a little extra insecure about it, where I'm like, like, maybe I should have listened to all the people who tried to tell me to study and do this and do that. Like, what if I've ruined everything? Like, what if I messed it all up and my life is over and I didn't do the right things and now it's just too late for me? And these people who went to the Ivy Leagues, like, they've been studying since they were in freaking kindergarten and they always had this life plan. And now I'm just trying to show up and do it now, and I'm too late. And then, like, literally, like, I go down this whole dark path. And then I'm just like, okay, all of these things may be true, and I still get to live a great life. Like, that's it. And if there's one person who has ever done it, like if they've ever, anyone who has built themselves up from nothing, and I didn't start from nothing, like let that be known, I didn't start from nothing. I just didn't get a degree. Like all my siblings have degrees, my family has degrees. Like I just did it because I don't like school personally. And I told my parents, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back and finish my degree. But I'm like, I don't want to go back and finish the degree. Like I do not like school, and I don't want to live in a world where people don't see me as valuable unless I finish the school. Like I hate school. Like it doesn't define me. It's not something that I'm interested in. I have many gifts. I have many talents. College is not one of them. Like, and what would be the point of me doing something that I really don't want to do just because, once again, like I was talking about earlier, out of fear, out of shame, out of guilt. Like it's not out of love. It's not, oh my God, I love this thing so much, I want to learn more about it. I'm always learning. I've spent many tens of thousands of dollars on work, like on courses, on like all kinds of things. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on business and learning and like real life experience. Like, listen, this is not my first rodeo. I'm not a dummy. I'm definitely not a dummy. But going back to college, like for what? Like to impress who? To get a job at some person's company that I don't even want? Like I really don't want to work. Like I don't want to do that. Why? I'm going to go to school so I can have a job that I hate. And I know I sound just like a typical millennial. Like every millennial feels like this. So I know. Or maybe Gen Z, like whatever. But like, no, like I literally wasn't raised for this. I wasn't made for this. Like my ancestors did not run away from their masters and escape slavery and liberate themselves so that I could be a slave again. Like, no, I don't want to do it. Like the whole point of them doing all that is so that I could be free to do what I want to do. So why would I enslave myself and do what I don't want to do? Like, I don't want to do it. And I know some people will be like, oh, you can do the hard thing or the hard thing. Like, working out is hard and being fat is hard. Choose the hard thing that you want. Okay, that's one way to look at things. That's definitely like, okay, going to school is hard and being broke is hard. Choose the one. But personally, I don't feel like you have to choose between the two, because there's a lot of people who don't have college degrees that have also made money. And so it's not like if you don't have the degree, you're not going to make money. Like those two things are not necessarily correlated. So no. And then two, like working out feels really freaking good. Like it's super rewarding. And honestly, like learning feels super good and it's rewarding too. And I don't have a degree, but I bet when you get it, you feel like really accomplished. Like, wow, I can't believe I really committed to something and I got it done. I'm sure it does feel really good. I might do it. I don't know. I'm undecided, but I really, really don't want to. Like, I really, really don't want to. Like, it would be so much more of a triumph story for me if I'm on Oprah or Impact Theory or whatever, and I'm telling the people about how I made my first 10 million without a degree. No degree. To me, that's more inspiring. Like, to me, it's more of a flex to be like, yeah, like it was just magic. It just fell in my lap. Like it was so easy. I just did what I love to do and the money just like literally came. Like it was just God's work. Like, I don't know. Versus like, I worked hard. I did all the right things. I did this. I did that. No. Like, I don't like that story for me personally. But I do really admire people who did that. Like, who graduated at the top of their class and then went to school and did all this fancy stuff. Like, I think that's wonderful. I do. But I want to do it the easy way. Like, personally, like, that I'm way more impressed. Like, I know someone that I'm thinking of specifically. I know a few people like this, but I know someone and she makes good money and she built a business from the ground up and she's awesome. But I don't admire her. I'm not inspired by her. Like, she's not impressive to me, even though she does make a lot of money and she's doing well for herself, because she's always stressed out. She works long hours. And she's always working and busy. Like, this is not the life that I want. Like, the people who inspire me and motivate me are the people who make it look easy. Like, wow, like she just gets whatever she wants. Oh my God, like she's so lucky. Like, oh my God, like those people. I'm like, oh my God, like I feel like she doesn't even do anything and she just like has this perfect life. Like, oh my God. And of course, like everybody does something. I know you're not gonna get something for nothing. Like that's not, I know that. But like just to make it look easy, to make it look effortless, to make it look magical, to like look like you're just in God's favor. Like that's the goal for me. Like I don't want to, if I have to work super hard for it, if I have to be enslave myself for it, like it's just not worth it for me. And some people actually really like being in school. And so it's not enslavement for them. Like they like it. I actually really like working out. Like I know some people think that working out is like hard and horrible and terrible, but I personally love working out. Like it feels good to move my body. I honestly can't imagine my life without working out. Like it feels more uncomfortable for me to sit idle and not move than to move. Like even while I watch TV, I usually just do like little workouts and stuff. Like I'm pretty much always moving. I have a little resistance band at my job, so I can do stuff there. Like it's just like my lifestyle. Like I'm just a fit person. And I think some people are just like scholarly people, but I'm not. And so I don't feel like just because I feel insecure about the fact that some like these people have degrees and I don't have one, that I should do it for that reason. Like that's not a good enough reason for me. And honestly, that's why I dropped out in the first place. I'm like, why am I here? And the reason I was here is because my parents told me I had to be there and that I was not going to make money otherwise. And I was like, well, that's just not a good enough reason. Like that is just not a good enough reason and I don't believe you. And so I dropped out. And honestly, I've made money. I've done well for myself. Like I've done pretty good. But now I've cut off that stream of income, so I need a replacement stream of income. And so that's what has me thinking I need to go back to school. But I'm like, no, and do what? Like, do what? Like, even like when I talk to people who just have like a regular average mindset, they're like, yeah, like a dental hygienist can make 6 figures. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to be a dental hygienist. I'm going to do this. I don't even like, no, I don't even go to the dentist. Why? I do go to the dentist, but I don't like going to the dentist. Why would I do that? Like, just for the money? Like, no. I refuse. I literally, even if I wanted to, I literally can't think like that, where I'm going to do something just for the money. And I think about it for a second, and I tell people, and people are like, yeah, like that, especially like my parents, like, yeah, like that's a good idea. Like, you can do that because it makes sense. Oh, you can go to nursing school, you can work as a nurse, you can do this. I don't want to be a nurse. Like, I don't want to work as a nurse. Like, why would I do that? Oh, it's good, it's stable. No. I can't. I just wasn't raised like that to be thinking about like the practicalities. Like, I'm not a practical person. I want to do what I want to do. Consequences be damned. Like, I want to do what I want to do, and I trust that the money will come. And honestly, it's always came. And every good thing that's ever happened to me literally fell in my lap. Like, I never worked hard for anything in my life. And I know people are going to be like, oh, like you're entitled, you're this, you're that. This is not real life. But that's fine. I'm not living in real life. Literally every good thing that has ever happened to me, the way that I perceive it, at least, some people might think I worked hard for it. But the way that I perceive it is that it literally fell in my lap. And basically what I do is whatever I want to do. And I keep my life really open and free. And that way, when a great opportunity comes, and it always does, like opportunities are unlimited. So when the great opportunity comes, I'm open and available and I go for it full force. And then people are like, oh, like you have to work really hard to do that. Not really. Like, not really. Like, even to open my business fell right in my lap. For a few months, was it kind of stressful getting it started? Yeah, it was. But like, it literally fell in my lap. Like, I didn't have to do much, if anything. People would literally be shocked, honestly, if they knew like my day-to-day schedule. Like, I don't do much. I don't. And I'm not capable of doing much. So why am I going to go to school to get a job from someone who's going to try to make me do a bunch of stuff? And I don't want to do a bunch of stuff. That is not my desire. Like, why I'm going to go to school to have a life I hate? Like, no. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not. I think I just decided, like, I'm not doing it. Like, I will not. I have always wanted to go to law school because I just think lawyers are, like, really, really awesome, and I would want to have that as a life skill. But I don't want to have to pay for it, and I don't want to have to, like, be on strict deadlines and stuff. Like, I want to just study, like, maybe just, like, get the LSAT study book and then just study it for myself. And then if I want to take the test, I can take the test. That would be more my style because I like to do things self-paced. Like, I love learning, but I don't like too much structure. And then I'm not like, no, it's not for me. Every good thing falls in my lap. And there's always that idle time. Like, I've been through this before, so I already know how it goes. And I'm still nervous. I'm like, why are you nervous if you already know how it goes? So anyways, I'm in the idle time right now. And during the idle time, I'm nervous. I'm like, oh my God, like, what if the opportunity doesn't come? Oh my God, what if I fall on my face? Like, maybe I have to go back to school. Maybe I need to start this business. Maybe I have to start that business. Maybe I have to get a sugar daddy. Maybe I have to do this. Like, I don't know. But at this point, I'm willing to do anything because I just want to get to the next level. Like, oh my God, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Like, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. But the opportunity hasn't come yet. So I'm just like, like twiddling my thumbs, like, okay, what am I supposed to do? But I'm supposed to just enjoy myself. I'm just supposed to go places I want to go, be places I want to be, and trust that the opportunity is going to literally fall in my lap. Literally. Like, this is a random example. This is kind of dumb. But there's this man, right? And I used to date him. And he's cool. I liked him. He does what he's supposed to do. And I had been thinking about him. But I was like, well, I'm not going to reach out to him. And tell me why he reached out to me today. Of course he did. And he wants to meet up and he wants to see me. And I'm like, boom, right on time. Right on time. Like, it's going to be right on time every time. And there's no rush. And I'm always being provided for. And it's not like I'm going hungry. It's not like I'm not lacking anything. I'm literally doing it. I have the car. I had gas. I have food. I have shelter. I have love. I have everything I need. And yeah, I'm sitting here all anxious, like, oh my God, what's the next opportunity? Like, what's going to happen? I'm scared. And what are you scared of? What are you rushing for? Like, there's no rush. Like, it's nothing. Like, just be happy that you can sit still and do nothing all day. You can sleep till noon if you want. You can stay up till 2. You can do whatever you want. You're free. But no, it's not going to always be like this. The time is going to come where you're working a lot more. And so in these idle times, enjoy it for what it is and know that when the next opportunity comes, you're going to be ready and you're going to execute accordingly. In this stage, just chill. Because there are times for rest and there are times for activity. Both are inevitable. In the rest, why are you being all anxious and stuff about the activity when the activity is not even here yet? Like, just relax. Just relax. I'm talking to myself, like, because I don't know why I get like this. It's time for me to rest. It's time for me to enjoy. It's time for me to pour into my relationships because I have the time to do so. Right? And then when the next opportunity comes, it'll come. It'll come. And that's it. This was a long rant. I love you guys. If you made it this far in the video, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I love you guys so much. And if you resonated with this video even a teensy little bit, then I feel like my purpose has been served. I love you to pieces. Peace.